The Dragon Ball franchise is an iconic one that has inspired many people to work out due to its training arcs and crazy power-ups. And my favorite one is the first one you see in the Dragon Ball anime slash manga, which is the Master Roshi Turtle Hermit training program. A quick background: Master Roshi, a legendary sage and martial artist, accepts Goku, the grandson of his former pupil, and Krillin, a Shaolin monk who bribed his way in. So Goku and Krillin are now training under Master Roshi, getting ready for the World Martial Arts Tournament. The first step Master Roshi performs is an aptitude test. He asks Krillin if he's had any martial arts experience, which he responds with about 8 years, and then makes both of them run 100 meters for time. And no surprise, they both complete the task very easily with great results, on par with an Olympic level athlete. This is a great step to start with for you to begin training, as you can test the limits of what you can and can't do. So a simple test would be your 1 mile run time, your 100-meter dash time, calisthenic work like push-ups and sit-ups and squats, and weightlifting exercises that are compound in nature like bench press, deadlifts, squats, overhead press, and see how much you can do without being absolutely destroyed the next day. The first training method that Master Roshi does is a rock finding contest. Takes a rock, signs his name or some kind of letter on it, throws it really deep into the woods, and then tells the boys the rules, which are: you have to find this rock in 30 minutes or nobody gets dinner, and only the winner is allowed to eat, while the loser has to watch. So in real life, what you can do is take a tennis ball or a baseball and throw it into the woods, and then give yourself 30 minutes, an hour, to go find it as quickly as possible. And if you can't, do like 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups, 100 push-ups, whatever you want as punishment. And this exercise essentially is to get your cardiovascular system going, give you some muscular endurance in the legs and maybe the arms if you're climbing things as well, like trees or vines, and it'll help you improve your tracking skills as well, which is not a martial arts skill, but it is being worked nonetheless. Now you can repeat this process because it could be fun, but I don't think he does this anymore after in either the anime or the manga. I could be wrong though. The second portion of training, which is also the one that is repeated every day, is the milk run. Master Roshi calls up the local milk delivery service and asks them if they can deliver the milk as opposed to the company. But Master Roshi does put a twist on it, as instead of using the helicopter, which is how it's normally done on this large island, they instead have to run with it. And as they run with the milk, they also have to skip and zigzag through trees and climb large mountains as they go door to door delivering the milk before the morning. For a real life version of this, what you can do is first, based off of your aptitude test that you took beforehand, you decide a set amount of miles or kilometers you want to run, and then start walking first so that your body can get used to this. And you can do this every day because it's such a low intensity exercise. And once you're comfortable with walking this many miles, what you want to do is then substitute a fourth of your set mile to jogging. So that means 3/4 of the way you're walking, and then 1/4 you're jogging. And you want to slowly and continuously reduce the amount of walking time for that set mile to where you can run 8-9 miles easily without being completely destroyed the next day. I do want to mention though that because running is much more explosive in nature than walking, so if you were walking every day, which in itself is a good thing, you can't substitute that for running every day because it could cause long-term damage on your joints and ligaments and tendons. As such, I'd recommend maybe 2 or 3 days max that you run like this. With the rest of the week, you continue your walking schedule instead. The next step up is to start adding in weights. In the manga / anime, you can see that Master Roshi gives Krillin and Goku turtle shells that are 20 kilos or 44 pounds. And down the line, increases it to 40 kilos or 88 pounds. The best way to imitate this safely is to start rucking. This is an exercise where you speed walk with a heavy backpack on you. Don't start with 40 pounds though, start off light like 8-10 pounds depending on how much you can handle. And like before, you should start to incorporate these in on your cardio days and learn proper technique along with how to fill the bags correctly to avoid any unnecessary injuries. And once you start to substitute this for your running days, or you can switch back and forth, 2 days of rucking and 1 day of running, or the opposite, you can slowly increase the weight as well, and who knows, you might even hit Master Roshi's turtle shell weight of 88 pounds. He does also make them wear the turtle shells in the next couple exercises as well, but I don't recommend that because some of them are kind of explosive, and having 40, 50, 60, whatever amount of pounds on you while doing this kind of explosive movement or long-term movement can cause damage to your joints and ligaments. So I recommend you not do that, instead just perform it normally. The next training method is to plow the fields with their bare hands. I'm actually going to combine this with another training later on in the day, which is construction work, because they're both essentially manual labor. For the first training method, I assume he did this so that they can have stronger hands along with endurance and cardio. And for the second, which is construction work, which would help build a lot of raw strength. A way to mimic the gains of this exercise is to first lift heavy weights at low reps and low sets. The reason for this method is because unlike a farmer or construction worker who works maybe 8 to 10 hours a day loading up sub-maximal lifts, you may not have time for this and maybe only have an hour or two. So to get that kind of benefit, you want to lift really heavy with very little reps, and you want to increase it about 5 pounds each workout. The lifts you should perform include bench presses, squats, deadlifts, overhead press, and a rep range of 4 to 5 with a set range of 2 to 3. And along with these exercises, you want to add in things like sledgehammer swings against a tire, farmer's walks with either a dumbbell, a kettlebell, barbells, or a trap bar, and other workouts that are popular in the strongman circuit, like a log press, the axle press, the Atlas stones, etc. The next exercise for Krillin and Goku is swimming, specifically 10 laps back and forth on a lake, and what they don't know until they jump in the water is that they're being chased by a giant shark. With this one, yeah, just swim, it's fine. 10 laps is a good number, but if it's too much for you, you can do less. If it's too little, you can do more, but just no sharks, because that's fucking stupid. That's an aquatic fucking predator, and it will eat you or try to eat you if you aggravate it. And as for jumping into a pond or a lake or even the ocean, just be sure that there's no like flesh-eating bacteria or dangerous animals that live inside of the water. Otherwise, you should be fine as long as you know how to swim. The next training method is where Master Roshi ties the two kids to a tree and then aggravates either a bee or a wasp nest in the name of training their reflexes. However, this is very stupid and dangerous to imitate, especially if you're allergic to bees, which can cause anaphylactic shock and you could die. So instead, a better way to train this, the best way in fact, is to have a partner in a sparring match train your reflexes by throwing punches and kicks, elbows, knees, takedown attempts. If you don't have a partner to do this with, you can also get a reflex boxing bag, which is like a stand-up bag that when you punch it, it comes back with full force. Or for something even cheaper, which is a headband ball, which has a similar concept, except that it's tied to your head, and when you punch the ball, it comes back with the full force that you punched it with. The bag and the ball aren't the perfect training equipment, but they're better than nothing. Then there's the pushing the boulder, because Krillin and Goku really wanted to learn martial arts specifically instead of just doing a bunch of physical training. However, this is not reasonable. So instead, what you could do is push a boulder or a wall or something that doesn't break or bend. And this is basically an isometric training exercise, which is a static contraction of a muscle without any visible movement to the angle of the joint. Something I also want to mention is how much they eat and the fact that they take a nap every day along with their regular sleep schedule. Now this is kind of a gag, especially the eating one, where you see them eat like pigs. But with the sheer amount of training that they're going through, it would require a shit ton of calories, even in real life, along with 8+ hours of sleep. Finally, I want to give you an example of a possible training week of 4 days a week, 2 for weight training and 2 for cardio. I'd recommend Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday off, and Saturday and Sunday also off. Monday should be a weight day, just like Thursday. Tuesday and Friday should be cardio days. For the weight days, you can break down the basic lifts, bench and squat, overhead press and deadlift, and then add in the strongman exercises as well. For cardio days, you want to mix it up. So some days you can go swimming, some days rucking, and one of those cardio days you want to have just for combat training. So that can mean heavy bag work, shadow boxing, sparring, or just an actual fight. All while supporting this with a lot of calories and a ton of nutrients, and getting 8 hours of sleep and even naps if necessary.